The television, a device that has changed a lot over its 100 years of existence, going from black and white to colored, to going from satellite to streaming, and now to its current form of smart TVs. And these things are pieces of shit, filled with spyware as well and clunky software. But there is a way to make it better, and it works on any TV, even without Wi-Fi support on the TV itself. Linux. Of course you already knew that because, well, you read the title and saw the thumbnail already, but that means today I will show you how I run Linux on a TV and how well it works, and if you should do it yourself. So with all that out of the way, let's get in. So what do you need to do to set this up is that all you need is an old laptop, kind of like this one I used for the LSQT video, and then get an HDMI or DisplayPort depending on your PC, and then locate on your laptop and TV and connect it together, and then switch it to the channel to whatever HDMI or DisplayPort number it is. You'll see that right next to the HDMI or the DisplayPort itself once you plugged it in. And then once it does, it changes into the mirroring or becoming a second monitor to the laptop. This does change depending on TV, but this does nearly work on nearly all TVs out there, even the newer ones. But now let's actually see how this works in person. So for the distro I decided to go with Linux Mint, because it's a pretty simple distro, especially one meant for beginners, you know, like how everyone else has ever said that of all time. Plus it has a built-in on-screen keyboard, which will be very important towards later. So after going through the standard install process on the laptop, which just works straight fine, I connected to the TV through the HDMI cord, but Linux Mint detects the TV as a second monitor once I put on the HDMI 1. And I can pretty much drag stuff into the TV screen, including the cursor. And I had to fix some issues with the TV screen that I already had beforehand. Like for example, it was a bit zoomed in for some reason. It got fully working, so I was finally able to use it properly. So we might as well talk about what I actually do with this whole TV Linux setup. Well, the first thing I did was watch Evangelion again, aka one of the best shows of all time, no questions asked. And then watch World Cup Final since it was around this time, which I can't show you footage of or else FIFA will get on my ass because of it. Plus I didn't record it in the first place, which is kind of unimportant because, well, that game was boring as shit in the first place. So then I did some terminal shit involving like C majors because fuck it, I'm on TV after all. Then saw OBS, which I am going to do for the rest of this video as I'm not recording this one-handed the whole time like an idiot. Plus you guys already know what it looks like, so I'm not going to show the TV anymore because, well, we already see like the TV enough as is. For the applications, I do like it to keep pretty simple though, as I keep the pre-installed Mint programs, usually because they're kind of hard to uninstall when all I have is a mouse. And there's really only two programs I use on that thing, WeWeWolf and VLC, and I barely use VLC occasionally to play music. Yes, playing music on a fucking TV, and I do not know what terminal commands I'm going to do with this thing. God forbid, it's going to be so horrible to type on it, trust me. There was also gaming, which first of all, my laptop is weak, well at least the one that I'm using the TV thing on, so I can barely even run games in the first place, and plus there's no easy way to even play them, as the closest thing I do have is a Switch Pro controller. Yes, I do have a Switch, make fun of me. Granted, I haven't used it in 2 years, but the point still stands. But anyway, I still learned that apparently Mint does not support the Switch Pro controller, or at least the Bluetooth section of it, because while it does work perfectly fine, and I know there's some distros that do fully support it, like for example Bazzai or Nimbala, which are more gaming focused and even have TV options, like for example what I'm doing, but I'm not bothering with that as I like to keep it pretty simple. So who knows what I can do with this in the future, but I like to stay away from gaming for this for now. And plus, why would you want to game PC games on TV anyway? Just do it on your computer. Oh wait, I forgot the Steam machine exists. Granted, it's too expensive, but still. And now I have to answer another question with myself. Has this improved my TV usage by a lot? Absolutely. Granted, I already had a pretty sad DVD collection, but I barely watched them recently due to the fact of me getting into shows over the past couple of months, like for example Evangelion, which do not have DVD releases. I have. Yeah, granted, I know they do have DVD releases, but I'm not paying those fucking prices for the whole show on eBay, so I ended up watching them on my PC instead. And since I started watching the TV more, since I hooked up the computer to it, because, well, it's pretty much just a second monitor to that shitty laptop as is, so I can just transfer the window over to watch these shows. And plus it's not just shows, it's also other things, like for example sports games. And yeah, I can still watch DVDs, especially anytime I want, since again I do have a pretty stacked collection, and plus it's physical and all that. But I do like it since I can watch more shows I'm actually interested in now. Plus if I do want to go DVD only from this point forward, I can always switch back for the TV settings, which are not that hard to navigate. Now we have to talk about my final thoughts. And now the first question of my final thoughts is that should you try this yourself? Yes, it's actually a pretty fun project to do, especially if you want to use a TV more. And reminder, it doesn't have to be a laptop. It can also be like, for example, a Raspberry Pi, which can even allow you to do even more experimentation, because those are pretty fun to deal with, because they're pretty fun experiment tools. And plus I definitely do feel like I'll keep my TV setup this way since I'm starting to use it more. And plus even with all those wows and all the stuff, because one wow manager with this bitch can actually get pretty annoying. But it's so fun if you can manage it all pretty well, even with all the mess that you eventually make. And the crazy part is I've actually had this idea for a while, like at least like a couple months, at least since like December 2025 or so. But the fact I didn't do it sooner is actually kind of crazy. But now I'm glad I actually did it, because now it just proves how experimentation is a part of the Linux ecosystem, what makes Linux an open source project truly fun in the first place. So keep using Linux, my brothers, and have a wonderful day.